When you've built years of trust with someone, you never expect a single sentence to undo it all. But that's exactly what happened to me with Brooke. The woman I had once believed was my future wife. It wasn't some dramatic scene, not a screaming fight, not even a visible act of betrayal. It was a comment, one line, slipped out casually over dinner that shattered the foundation of everything we were supposed to be building together. Brooke and I had been engaged for 3 months. The wedding planning was already stressful, but I kept telling myself it was worth it because I loved her. We were sitting across from each other one evening, eating takeout after a long day, when the conversation drifted toward past relationships. I never liked talking about her ex, a guy named Kyle who seemed to linger like a ghost in our story. She used to reassure me that he was ancient history, that I was the man she chose, the one she wanted a future with. I believed her. But that night, something in her tone changed. She was laughing, telling some random story about college, when she said, "Kyle always knew how to make me feel alive. No one's ever been able to top that." The air in the room froze. My fork hovered midair. She didn't even realize what she had just said. She just kept eating, sipping her drink like nothing had happened. But those words cut into me deeper than any argument ever could. Alive. No one's ever been able to top that. I wasn't her alive. I was just the safe, steady choice. The man she picked because he was reliable, not because I was unforgettable. I tried to brush it off at first, telling myself maybe she hadn't meant it the way it sounded. But the more I thought about it, the worse it became. That night, I couldn't sleep. Her words echoed in my head like poison. If Kyle was the benchmark for passion in her life, then what was I? Just a placeholder, a husband she could settle with because she didn't have better options. I began noticing little things afterward. The way her eyes glazed when we kissed, like she was thinking of something or someone else. The way she lingered on her phone late at night, claiming she was too stressed about floral arrangements to sleep. Every doubt fed the next, until I couldn't tell what was paranoia and what was truth. That single comment had cracked the surface, and underneath it, I began to see all the fractures I had been ignoring. The next week was torture. I couldn't shake the image of Brooke sitting there, casually admitting her ex had given her something I never could. My mind replayed the moment over and over until it became unbearable. I started pulling away, speaking less, watching her more. I told myself I wasn't going to confront her until I had proof. Proof that I wasn't just being insecure. Proof that what she said meant more than just a careless slip. That proof came quicker than I expected. One night, she came home later than usual, blaming it on a bridal meeting with her friends. She smelled faintly of cologne. Not her own perfume, not mine either. Something inside me snapped. I decided right then I wasn't going to sit quietly and let myself become the fool. If Brooke thought she could drag Kyle's ghost into our relationship, I was going to show her just how real consequences could be. The next day, while she was at work, I went into our shared office space and scrolled through her laptop. Normally, I would have felt guilty, but not anymore. Her browser history told me everything I needed to know. Kyle's name searched multiple times, old social media accounts, pictures, places they had been. I even found emails. Short, cryptic lines like, "It was good to hear from you, and maybe we should catch up properly sometime." My stomach turned. I didn't explode, not immediately. Instead, I started planning. If Brooke wanted to cross the line, then I would make sure she knew exactly where that line ended. That night, I acted completely normal. I kissed her cheek, asked her about her day, even pretended to be excited about wedding venues she wanted to tour. Inside, though, I was stone cold. I ordered flowers under her name and had them delivered to our apartment the following afternoon, timed perfectly for when she wasn't home. The card read, "Can't stop thinking about you." I didn't have to lift a finger after that. Brooke came home, saw the bouquet, and her face drained of color. I asked casually, "Oh, who are those from?" She stammered something about a mix-up, but I just nodded, playing the clueless fiancé. Over the next few days, I dropped subtle hints that I knew more than I actually said. Each time, she grew more anxious, fumbling over explanations that never added up. It was like watching someone dig their own grave, shovelful by shovelful. Still, I held back. I wanted the final blow to land exactly where it would hurt the most, right in the middle of her carefully planned future. A week later, the moment finally came. Brooke was buzzing with excitement, telling me about a big family dinner where she wanted to announce our wedding date. She kept talking about how perfect it would be, how everyone would finally see that we were the couple who had it all together. I smiled and nodded. But inside, I was already picturing how fast her perfect image was about to crumble. That night, while she got ready in the bedroom, I pulled out the small envelope I'd prepared. Inside were printed screenshots of her messages to Kyle, along with the fake flower card I had saved. I placed everything neatly inside her jewelry box, the one she opened every morning without fail. Then I packed a small bag for myself and left it by the front door. At dinner, she was glowing, holding my hand like nothing had ever been wrong between us. She even leaned in and whispered, "See? We're finally on track." The irony was almost too much. Just before dessert, she raised her glass, cleared her throat, and started to announce our wedding date. That was my cue. I stood up, pulled out my phone, and placed it on the table. On the screen was a slideshow of her emails, her searches, and the flower delivery card. Every face at the table turned toward her, confused, then horrified, as they realized what they were reading. Brooke's fork clattered against her plate. "I thought everyone should know the truth," I said evenly. "Brooke seems to think her ex still offers her something I never could. Maybe you'd all like to ask her about that before you save the date." The silence that followed was deafening. Her parents stared at her like strangers. Her friends exchanged whispers, and Brooke herself just sat there, pale, trembling, unable to string together a defense. She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "I won't be part of this circus," I said calmly, picking up my bag. "The wedding's off. Consider this my RSVP declined." I walked out before anyone could stop me. Behind me, I heard the eruption of voices, her mother demanding answers, her sister hissing her name in disbelief. I didn't look back. Later that night, I returned to our apartment for the last time. Brooke's jewelry box was open, the envelope torn apart, the evidence scattered across the floor like shattered glass. She had left me dozens of missed calls and texts, all begging for me to talk it through. But I didn't respond, because the truth was, the moment she compared me to her ex, she had already destroyed us. Everything after that was just proof. And by the time she realized it, I was already gone.